night, got some good rest. We will. Well needed.
24 hours straight.
Yeah.
We're up.
Yeah. It's one way to celebrate your birthday. We are heading into Seward. We are doing the Kenai Fjords Northwest.
I let her say that because I can't say it right.
Fjords. The 8-hour tour. So it goes up to the northern area. And we're hoping to see a lot of wildlife, some whales, all kinds of fun stuff today.
Isn't that how that show started, where they could shipwreck an 8-hour tour?
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nick at Night there.
At least hopefully our boat's not
Flashback.
named the Minnow.
Yeah. So we are heading over there now, and should be a great day.
See you there.
and that's the indication of an deeper dive. So this is your book right now.
Oh my god.
Comes a tail.
There he is. Oh, there he is.
Now this whale's on the surface taking several breaths and increases. It's gonna arch and show its tail. Now we mentioned you can ID individual humpback whales. The way the biologists do this is they photograph the underside of the tail when the whale goes for a deep dive. They'll have notches in the tail, white markings on the underside of the tail. No two humpback whales have the same look, so they photograph that and that becomes their ID.
Little tail.
Fantastic. Now, did you see those little white markings? Sometimes it does that quite loudly.
Oh, wow. I caught it.
That's what I'm talking about.
On cue.
Now, the big mistake that people make here is they listen and then look. But remember that light does travel faster than sound. Even though it looks like we're close, we may be far enough away that if you hear something, it may have happened already. So you kind of have to keep your eye on the glacier, scan back and forth, and some of the most impressive activity comes from high up on the hanging glaciers, so you want to watch those. And if you start to see something let loose, you might point it out to others, because one person can't keep an eye on the whole thing. We'll spend about 20 minutes here, a little bit later in the visit. I'll mention a couple things about the glacier. You're going to see a lot of animals hauled out on the ice up here, and these are harbor seals. There's a lot of them up here.
Oh, just
Thanks for putting your hand in front of my
Jesse, what do you think?
Hey,
Pretty incredible, huh?
crazy.
It's not water, that's ice. Maybe some water mixed in it. It's mostly ice. That looks like a waterfall. But I'm seeing, as I look up there, I see a little circle. The ice meets the sky. I would just mention size can be kind of deceiving around here. But if you look to the far left at the Hayne Glacier there, where the ice meets the sky, you're looking about 3,000 feet above sea level. Then on the right side here on our 2,000 feet above sea level. So when you see things break off up high here, rarely does it make it down to the water. But if it does, it's because it was really big. There's a rainbow that make up white light, with the exception of the color blue. That's an extremely active wavelength that's able to escape the ice and your eye picks it up. It appears much more blue on an overcast day like this than on a sunny day. On a sunny day, the light rays are so intense, a lot of the other light rays escape it as well, due to the lighter appearance. So you get the full effect today. You can hear a little, that was seal talk, but even I can understand that. Basically calling out, Mom, Mom, Mom. We often refer to these glaciers as frozen rivers of ice. This glacier is flowing toward. Climbing up out of the water, you can see some of the bedrock underneath. And when the glacier started climbing up out of the water, then the recession slowed, because the air here does not melt the ice as fast as the water does. And that's something we should be aware of as we see glaciers melting. That activity you just saw up high is going to come on that waterfall there. It comes down. It's about halfway down. So I mentioned when the glacier down here started climbing up out of the water, the recession slowed. And so it's been kind of able to hold us off here since 1994. But I would mention when glaciers are melting, they don't just recede, they also become thinner and narrower. And that's what I've been watching with this glacier for the last 32 years, and I can share some differences with you. It looks like we have two glaciers here, the one on the left, then the one on the right. Big gap in between the two. But the one on the right has a rock exposure down low on the right and another rock exposure up high. Well, in 1994, there was no gap between the two glaciers. It was ice all the way across. This glacier, this rock exposure on the stern down low on the right was completely covered with ice. And then the rock exposure above it up there was about a third of the rock exposure that we see today. So quite a bit of change just in 32 years. It's been interesting for me to watch something I consider timeless like a glacier disappear not within my lifetime. but within decades of my lifetime. And we almost can't call this a tidewater glacier anymore. About the only thing that's keeping it that is this far left side. And I've actually seen the far left side completely up out of the water before. But this left side experiences what we call a glacial surge. And I would mention a glacial surge is different than a glacial advance. A glacial surge can be a sign of melting. The reason I mention that, on this far left side over here, there's a river flowing out from underneath that glacier. Well, if that river dams up due to collapsing ice, then water pressure will build. And then the water will work like a lubricant, causing the glacier to move faster than it otherwise would. We call that a glacial surge, and we see that from time to time on the left side, especially in the late winter, early spring. We'll see it kind of surge out here. Alright folks, well, I'm sure if you're like me, you could sit here all day long waiting for the next big one to let loose, but we're going to have to leave here pretty soon. So if you want to see this thing let loose again, start concentrating on it real hard. Use the force. Yeah, we see that. Black on white up there. You do have a black bear straight off the bow up on the ice field there. That's that number where the avalanche was coming down straight off the bow. That's it. Now that bear is kind of in a pickle there because that's that avalanche pile we just saw moving. So he's got to decide whether he's going to go out on that or not.
Black bear just hanging out on the ice field. I don't know, bud. Maybe it's not safe.
Yes, it's one of the things we hear about these days is we hear about glaciologists doing ice cores. So it's this ice melts in May, there's less chance of reflection. So as ice melts, it's area will warm up even more and accelerate the melting. Looks like when it's on top of a glacier being carried along before it gets deposited somewhere. Also, if you look, there's a blue finger of ice coming down there on the right side, and just to the right of that
Gotta go.
Now, hopefully you got some binoculars. You can get a real close look at that pup. They're in the top 5 list of cutest things in the world.
Oh yeah!
Oh. Woo. Got it.
Right there, right there.
Surface. So you got a little look up what everybody's favorite behavior when they're breaching like that, jumping out of the water. It's Misconception is called the peduncle muscle, of course the tail muscle. And all they have to do is go down and turn around, and 3 sweeps of their tail, they can launch themselves out of the water.
go. There we go. Over here. Wow. So cool. Oh my gosh, they're just like in a line.
center than the ones that are resting. So yeah, this is pretty much resting behavior here.
Wow, there's so many of them. Almost sounds like they're mooing.
Spring. To give you an idea, the biggest animal there, probably in January, weighed about 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
Oh, looks like there's going to be a little argument between a couple of them.
Oh, wow.
So that same animal that weighed 1,500 pounds in January now weighs 2,500 pounds. Gained about 1,000 pounds in less than 6 months. Imagine that. And then they come and haul out at the rotary. Now, what they used to think they did was collect a harem of females and fiercely protect those females from other males. But through the research now, they realize that's not the case. It turns out what the males protect is a territory. They protect a territory where they think the females might like to hang out. Females can come and go from any territory they like. Well, it turns out the spots that the females like are higher up the rocks. The reason for that is when they give birth to their pups, the higher washed away by a summer storm wind, which is a big part of their mortality in their first year. So dominant bulls take sites high up on the rocks, and if they're really serious about what they're doing, they will not leave those high areas the entire breeding season. They won't even go to the water. It's a very stressful time for them. All that weight they gain in the spring, they lose throughout the breeding season. Now you'll see some of the big bulls down by the water. Subordinate bulls take sites closer to the water. And what they're hoping is that if a female leaves the high areas to head to the water, they might be able to breed with her when she goes by. So the idea is that any chance is better than no chance. about the goat. Now the goat's up there and the animal's just below it.
There's not a wildlife sign. There we go.
That's a hoary marmot.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes they refer to the hoary marmot as a whistle pig. They do make a loud whistle call. I don't know who made that goat there, but that would not be unusual. And then on the right, you have that younger goat. I think, I don't know. Probably the main reason we see goats here, not sheep, has to do with food source. Sheep are grazers. They rely heavily on grasses and sedges for their food source. And in the wintertime,
All right, so we just got off the Coastal Explorer.
Wow. That was
I
incredible.
don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Like jokingly, I went in. I said, "We're gonna see the tail. We're gonna see a breach, and we're gonna see orcas." And we saw it all.
And we saw so many, like the scenery, the wildlife. It's incredible.
The calving of the glaciers. Like,
You can't even explain it. It's
I don't
just
know, all the wildlife.
awesome. The crew was great. We
This-
had a great
Well
lunch.
worth every dollar.
You know, everything was
So
yes, absolutely. Kenai Fjords tours. They have different options too. We did the 8-hour Northwestern,
yeah, the Northwestern Glacier.
which loved it. It was, I think, right
I
around the
wouldn't.
time.
I wouldn't do a short one,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Saw 3 different types of whales. That was cool. So,
all right. So yeah,
Awesome.
if you're here, do it.
do it. Yeah. Hey everybody.
Hey.
We just finished up dinner at Ray's Waterfront in Seward. Very good. Great seafood options. Yeah, we are very full. And we did like appetizer, soup, and dessert. So we tried to kind of simplify, but it was still filling. The chowder was... I really taken a liking to seafood chowder. Just incredible. Crab and chowder. So, we kind of went to before that, did some shops downtown in Seward. So something to check out. And then the Sea Life Center, that was pretty cool as well. So we are heading back to the tiny house and gonna kind of get things ready for cruise day tomorrow. Check you later.